giving you an opportunity to get the full story from the people who tell it best. This is Mediacom Newsleaders.
We're going to talk about a new subject today on this segment. It's called the Youth Community Coalition, otherwise known as YC2. And this guy is kind of heading it up. He's the coordinator, Ron Rowe. Welcome, Ron, to Newsleaders.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. This actually was passed on to us from our good friend Heather Harlan with the Phoenix Foundation, Phoenix Programs. And she recommended you to be a guest on the show, and I can see why, because I know you're very dedicated and very into what we're talking about today. The Youth Community Coalition, define that for me.
So the Youth Community Coalition, basically, the most basic way to say it is all of your youth-serving organizations and agencies here in the area. We come together with an overarching goal to help all of our kids become productive, self-sufficient citizens. And the best way I can say that we do that is we work at the environment or the community level to make the communities that we work in the best place they can be for kids to make positive choices as they're growing up.
Part of those positive choices are whether or not you're going to be doing alcohol or drugs, right? So
substance use prevention is a pillar of our work. We were formed in 2005 formally and been at it for 13 years. So substance use prevention, things like one way to make the community better is the prescription drug take back. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but our local law enforcement heads that up. They have a lot of partners, but twice a year we take back lots of medications, 800 to 900 pounds a time now that we do that. Sheriff Tom Redden heads that up, and we support that initiative. That is preventing medicines from being out there that kids could get their hands on. Compliance checks with law enforcement to make sure establishments are IDing for tobacco or alcohol in particular in our communities. But those kind of things are preventing youth from getting their hands on alcohol or tobacco.
What about the educational end of it?
Right, so we will at different times go into schools or go, as important, some people don't realize this, go and talk to adults and parents about preventing substance use. A lot of times, well, it's a not so well-known fact, but all substances get to kids from adults. If you think about it, whether they're sold to them, those that are legal, those that aren't, they come from adults. They don't just make it. They don't just get them out of thin air, right? And so on the alcohol and tobacco, I've mentioned to you in the past when we've talked in the past about the U Card We Care initiative that we have going. That's this guy right here. This is something that the community at large can participate in. This is a positive reinforcement campaign, really, for our retailers, cashiers, servers at restaurants who serve alcohol or tobacco. We thank them for when we see them ID for those, because that's one more instance where kids won't have access to those substances. So it's very important. So something we've worked on for a while and hoping to roll out to the community, have the community be more involved if they'd like to be. So.
Yeah, because obviously the community has to be involved in this for it to work.
Correct. And whether it's training for community or like in this U Card We Care, having them be out there in the community showing that they care about this issue. Something that I could kind of overarch all of our work. It's easy to overlook, but kids notice, youth notice when we pay attention to them and when we show that we care about them. They may not like that we say that you can't do this or that, or that we rather you make this choice rather than that choice, but the overarching bit about caring comes through. And all of this work, adults showing that youth matter, that their decisions matter, that is a very important piece to all of this that can't be overlooked as well.
I like that. Yeah. Well said. There's an event coming up that is open to the community.
Absolutely. So we're in our 4th year now of a legislative forum. So Youth Community Coalition is proud to have a great partnership with our current legislators and our, this year, legislative candidates. We bring them in once a year around September, and this year it'll be September 25th. From 6:30 to 8:30 at Douglas High School. We want to showcase the new Douglas High School renovations that have been recently updated. But we bring in the legislators. It's our coalition and our network's chance to tell these legislators, to give them information about what we think is important for youth. It's a little bit of a twist, and I think the legislators have come to like it. They're not there primarily to tell us what they're going to do. They're there to learn what we think the issues are with respect to
Very
youth.
important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And our overarching goal there is we want them to take that information back. They're going to make decisions about youth, whether we say so or not. I mean, and youth don't get a vote. So if we can impress upon them what's important, we think, for the youth in our area, when our local legislators go back, they can at least have that information. They can also know who they could contact if they want more information. It's a nice event. The community is invited. We take some community questions, and I think everyone over the past few years is edified in some way, shape, form, or fashion in that event.
So September 25th?
Yes.
Douglas High School?
6:30 to 8:30, correct.
Is there information on the website?
There is, yes. If it's not there, it'll be there very soon. We just got this straightened up, so it'll be there very soon.
Okay. YC2.org. Very
That's
easy
correct.
to remember. You got to come back and see me. We're out of time. But you
I'd
got
love to.
so much information to talk about.
We do. I didn't even talk about our organizing out in the county. That's what I spend most of my time on, actually. So we'll have to talk about that some other
Next time.
Yeah.
Ron Rowe, thank you so much.
Terrific. Thank
Good
you.
to see you.